regarding child maintenance and also educate you on child maintenance rights. My name is Kanalma Bashman. Today, we meet a mother of 3 from Randfontein. She's seeking an increase on one of her children's maintenance. Let's go meet her. Now, as Eugenia, you wrote into our show regards a maintenance issue that you're having. Tell us a bit more about that.
The actual issue of the maintenance is that the father does not want to pay maintenance. He pays the amount he's thinking about.
How much maintenance is he currently paying?
I'm currently suffering with the child because he's now attending school in Joburg. So if he gives me 300 rand, I cannot afford to take the child to school. He's not getting any money for food, for lunch. He's not getting any clothing. You know, it's like he's left the child alone. Yes.
How much would you like him to increase it to?
I was telling him to pay at least, when I say maybe it's better, 650.
Now, ask Eugenia, what does the court say about your situation?
The court told him that he must pay the full amount, but now he's still insisting on paying the 300 rand.
Were you married or just partners living together?
We were married customary. So, at our house, where we stayed, the father of the child came with the girlfriend and the mother to come and sprinkle some things in the yard. So every time they come to our place, they fight with me. So I cannot go to his place, he cannot come to my place. Just like now, even if you can tell him that, you know what, we have to sit down and have the child, he cannot do that. Recently we had a problem with the child. My child was fighting with another guy from our yard. So the guy passed away. So every time I get a school for this child, he goes to the school to report, to tell these people about the incident that happened last year. So the teachers, they cannot handle the child. They think maybe the child is a street kid, you know, he's doing this, he's doing that. Now, there's no school that wants my child.
Bob Eric, a lady by the name of Eugenia Mujoka, some know her as Grace, wrote into the show. Do you know who she is?
Yeah, I need to.
How do you know her?
Yes, ex-girlfriend.
Not ex-wife. So when did you and Als Eugenia break up? Who is Ben?
Boyfriend
Who
why eat? Yeah.
The house you shared together.
There's no board on clothing or unsebel, Nagamon see to see a mono.
How did that make you feel?
I'm free to cremos
So you were ordered to pay 500 rand by the court for Prince for child maintenance.
Mama, what's working, Mama? How will something?
What is your truth?
Or Netia or another obscene, it may have father and Gisago maintenance. I will patella 500 because we prints in there. But what's a grease, almost a grease? I will show. He did Papa Cosuli Prince. Avaria. More or greasy, or meet a Tirikina. Ola, Tirikit, Ariana meet. Yama Tirikit. Correct. When a grease appear high, 2 more maintenance. Kayuchim joga, the Kakison joga. So, and the more it what happened like a why? What that thing is a Mayane. Whatever else was too clear. Our community, Raman, and that's even on us. But all along the Kitaba on a all diseases, all my life, Kitaba Greece can let us Bonaca 2097. Second Bonaga, yeah, 99. I tell myself, that story. Continue to see first Bonaga 99.
She now tells us that it went from 500 to 300. How did that happen?
I give a reg and I got a marathon and I got a quote every day. I'm like 125 every week on my wages. Every week I have 500 ranta, I say a pata. So you really like a reason I took a Mississippi. Cataba quarter to get in Hawaii, hasn't to cook and Kawaling. Our neck, they're very close.
Okay.
I caught in January 2024, 2030. Fika about Halusi to go court or about Access Bar. kopa la tšhelete le theose at least e be 3 clips once ke thola sponsor se grant ke tla boela via go 5 papers.
And a warm welcome back to our brand new show, Papgeld, where we aim to help you resolve your disputes when it comes to maintenance before they get out of hand. Today in studio, we're joined by Umamu Grace, Eugenia Njoga, and Ubabu Eric Liobe, who are at loggerheads about the amount of money to be paid towards the child that they share. Now, to help us resolve their issue, in studio, we're joined by financial expert, Mrs. Wendy Senedi, and our advocate for the legalities, or advocate, Mzo Madono. To bring you up to speed, Mam Wendy and you, Mzo, earlier on, I had a sit-down with Mam Eugenia. I also had a chat with Ubab Eric. Eugenia wrote into the show she is not happy about the amount of money that Eric is paying towards the child support for the child that they share, a 16-year-old boy called Prince. Bab Eric is currently paying 300 Rand. Eugenia would like it raised to at least 650 Rand. Before we get into it, let's take an ad break, and Papgeld will be back right after this. Welcome back, and thank you for joining us on South Africa's very first ever child maintenance show, Papgeld. Before the break, you heard why Eugenia and why Eric are on the show to try and get some assistance in resolving their child maintenance issue. We introduced you to Umam Wendy, who is a financial expert and a life coach, and Umzo, who is an advocate to help us with the legalities of the case. Mzo, where do we start?
Okay, Okokuqala, we need to know when was this current order made?
2001.
Okay, no, that's good enough. The reason I'm asking is that for increase, you need to have the order in place for at least 12 months.
Okay.
So in this case, it's clear she has a right to increase right now. The order has been in place long enough.
Okay.
Another important thing about increase is that increase is not automatic. Just because it's after 12 months or after a year does not necessarily mean the maintenance will be increased automatically. Maintenance is always treated on the basis of what the child needs and what the person who is supposed to pay maintenance can afford. So Putsokuri, Eric, I can afford the 650 now. And the other question is, Mwana Ushoka 650 now.
All right. I think it's best we go directly to that question to Bab Eric. Bab Eric, can you afford 650 Rand?
Ka sa go nyatse mme ka se gone go patala 650 ka re e ke kgolang gona no ga ke kgone go ikeleta sepe gona ka re ke wa e kry-a tšhelete ke mofang 300 rand ke mo duela sone a bua maaka re bonna case ena ke ya 2007.
According to what Usis Eugenia said to us, Bab Eric was told by the court of law to pay 500 Rand, paid that for a certain amount of time, but took it down himself, not via the court, took it down himself to 300 Rand. What is meant to happen legally?
Eric, uyihlise ngokwakho le mali or i-court ithe uyihlise?
Ne ke la ka just spana ke thola spana se se bekia go court ka apply ra lenya gore ne tšhelete theosiwa ka September ka e tlatsa ra form ka kena mo file ile re ya court ba ba remind ke patala 300 rand ha se ke ya court ke di remind mara na khale ya pele ka September the application gore ga re tswile ka court nna lo e ke affordang ke 300 rand ha wa tlo bula file ba sheba da minus bare bula apply right gore ba theose tšhelete ha ba e theosa bona ha ba bui gore go tsana mara re itse go court ba remind the case.
Technically, then you are breaking the law. A court order is binding until it cancelwa ki court order enngwe. You cannot change a court order by yourself. So you have to apply for it to be reduced, but you still have to continue paying what the court order said you must pay until another court order substitutes the existing court order. So in other words, if wena uitheusitse ka bo wena, then wakolota.
Mamwende, as a financial expert, he says he can't afford 650 Rand. What would you advise on what he's currently paying of 300 Rand to a jump of more than double the amount of money that she's expecting? What would you advise on that?
Okay, so the first thing that I'd like to find out from both Eric Lee, Eugenia Kihore, do both of them have what we call a budget? Because a budget is a plan that you put down to manage your finances so that you can be able to ascertain hore o tlhoka eng kapa ha o tlhoke eng. Here the issue is that if you don't plan, you plan to fail. And if le bua fela di amounts mara le sena anything e le kwetseng mo fatshe to support, so chances are when about Eric also Eugenia wa tlhoka 650 mara ne tshwantse go be le something e le ngotseng mo fatshe, which is what we call a budget. So ke kopa o botsa hore do you have a budget?
Again, go to the example. Budget actually.
Okay. Wena mama una le yona?
Mara ka tsa pampiri ya teng.
Okay. Wena income ya hao ke bokae?
Go gola 450 ka beke.
450 ka beke. So 450 ha re times ka 4 e re fa 1008. Okay, and then o patala eng?
Ke patala rent ke 900. Yeah, ke patala class 150. Ke patala American Swiss 50 rand.
Le mang gape?
Ke patala le African Bank 120.
So meaning no nkile personal loan.
Yeah, le personal loan.
Okay.
The ticket gape ka mo ke le go izamela ke reka sometimes.
Ticket
Ya train sometimes.
Okay. Okay, so ke bokae ticket ya train?
Ticket ya train ke felitse ile monthly 127 126.
And then after that?
Yeah, chinchi we give from 300 rand.
I've just done a quick tally. How ka sheba tšhelete e o e kenyang 300 ya prince e kenyang edikasi le bona kaofela e etsa about 740 ha re calculator roughly. So that is why it's very important therefore for going forward o tlo dula mo fatshe o ngwale and then o tla iponela le wena gore gantlentle tšhelete o salang ka yona ha e fele kaofela go santse go na le surplus nya
Go rana tšhelete ke fele o tlhang ke se ka ba le next.
ne ke sa re yalo mara ne ke ra gore the way wena o no ibua ka teng gore di 450 tse pedi ke 900 mara mo 900 ha o ntsha 740 go na le e salang maybe re ka bona gore o etsang ka yona o ka kgona go kae go fulfill yana ka advocate Mzo setsa tshilo gore what you are doing is breaking the law. You need to for now maintain what the court has said until such time ba go theose it.
You hear his plight. If he cannot afford it, what is he meant to do? Legally, what are his rights?
Well, there's an element of the court failing him because legally speaking, as soon as somebody comes to court and makes an application, yokuhlisi maintenance because I can afford it, the court must treat that matter as very urgent because before the next pay date, the court must have resolved exactly how much he must pay.
Okay. Mom Eugenia, what can you afford towards the child?
Prince is using almost 1,000 rand alone. I want to show you this thing because Eric does not want to support this child at all. He sold our house. He gave me nothing. He ate the money alone. He bought a car. He bought a home. His child does not have a home to stay to. But now Eric, she's having a wife with 2 kids. He's supporting these children. But he cannot support only one child. One. Only one with 500 rand. That is not doing anything. So now, if he decreases his, how am I going to, how? Just how?
Di mane mo kwa prince ne ne mmeo ha mo plan line. A re prince o boleile motho o mmeo. Ne. Ha tsama a bua re me ken o boleile motho, right? Ha ngwana ga o boleile motho, a ke re tshwantse as nna lona re meleng tang. Tshwantse tlo gone e re ke mpetu ngwana ke utse mathata pe. A re kopanye le tlhogo fetere buisa. Understand? And she didn't do that because of her all like it. Babo. I'm playing next. Last time ngwana tlhawa mo ka thipa go sekolo. Skila o bula phone for Eric Prince ke o tlhabile bona mo ka thipa. Kae? Then kaya o tla. Ka kram go ga mo Prince wa tlhaba ba mo ka dithipa we. Ba bona ntwe tsa eng ro. Prince a re nna mana ngwa tshisa. Right. Mfano ba mo kwala ko tse susume for 6 weeks. Wow.
Prince was arrested.
Yeah. No what happened mama ne? Ne ke bereka go go sekolo ka teng. So ke tseba mfano la a tswile ko tse susume. Ma ka sa tsebe kwa lente. As a father, or school sa sa hopefully no way garante. So it's getting ke fite fe. I have to go see my child there ngwana sa pana attend or ya. gore ba moseditse na ga ke kena ko sekolong ne te kry-a mfana ona ba mo emise ko setorong ke principal ke motse no mfana o editse ra mfana re mo kry-la a tswile motokwana o tswile motokwane yang ba ra fetsa go mo testa mo.
Well, there's obviously a lot to be talked over still, and that was quite a mouthful on its own. Let's take a break and hear more after this. Papgeld will be back. You're still tuned into Papgeld, the show that helps you resolve your maintenance issues before you have to face the courts. My name is Kanalma Bashman. Thank you for sticking with us. Now, before we went on to the ad break, you heard what Umam Eugenia had to say. You heard what Ubabu Eric had to say. A lot of issues are obviously on the table, and our experts are here to help resolve them. Mam Wendy, we've heard a lot about Babu Eric's finances. What about Mam Eugenia's finances?
Wena, what is your income?
Nna ke kry-a 650 mo bekeng. That is according to the customers. Ne?
Okay.
So ke etsa portion. Right. Then ha kgwedi e fela,
Eh.
ne re na le dilo tse re di bitsang gore ke di-incentives
Okay.
tse re di kry-ang.
Okay.
So sometimes ke na le go kry-a 2,000, sometimes ba 1,500. E ya ka gore batho ba patetse yang.
Okay.
Wa bona. So ke patala flat 2,500 rand. Ne? So e exclude motlakase le metsi. Right. And then Prince ke mo fa 300 rand.
Okay.
Ya school fees every month. O mo fa 400 rand. Ya go palama from Kopaki go ya kwa dulang ko ke 10 rand, 10 rand is. And then 300 rand e nngwe train e palamang ke 180 go tswa kwano go ya go Joburg.
Electricity
Le metsi di a differa nako e nngwe because ha re collecta rona ke 250 ne. So that
can we just take maybe 150 or 200?
ka re ke 200 rand.
Okay, your basic income is 2.6 a month, and then how
The
do you
incentives.
the incentives 1.5?
Yes.
Okay, so how do you go on your 4,000?
Ke 4,000 rand, yes.
Okay. So, Mom Eugenia, surplus o salang ka yona ke 300.
Nna ke ne surplus ke salang ka yona because ke na le ngwana o kenang a riches.
Okay.
Ngwana o patala 700 rand ke school fees.
Okay.
Plus transport ya gae is 300 rand.
Okay.
So e salang ke mo fa yona for dijo.
Okay. So meaning every month you operate on a deficit. Kore tšhelete dikoloto tsa gago di feta tšhelete e o e kry-ang. Okay. Now, Butimzo, we've already heard Uputi, Eugenia has got a negative after she has done all her expenses. Eric only has a surplus of 146. Clearly, there is a challenge in terms of the finances. What is the next step?
Now, in maintenance, it's rare that you find that both people are happy afterwards.
Yeah.
Because in situations, especially in situations like this one, it's clear that Uput Eric cannot afford the 600. That is clear from what we've just seen. And this is not to say that Mrs. Eugenia Agaiding is 600. Mrs. Eugenia definitely needs more money for maintenance. However, in maintenance is paid according to what the respondent can afford. So even though we acknowledge that we are doing Alimali, unfortunately in this situation, at the moment, with the salary Aifumanayo Uput Eric, he cannot afford an increase at this point. So if this matter goes to court, if the parties do not agree with us here and they take the matter further to court, the court would in such cases postpone the matter for a period of about 3 months, 6 months, to give him a chance to either get a better job or to get an increase from his job. But the court will never make an order that the man can obviously not afford.
Okay. Ask Eugenia, you've heard what the experts have had to say in regards to your salary, in regards to Baba Eric's salary. From here onwards, how are you feeling about everything and what are you prepared to do?
I'm saying the court should not decrease the money that Eric is asking from the court. Because right now, there's a sale of a house that has happened. Already Eric has all the amount of that money. I haven't got my share. So how is Eric saying that he cannot afford to pay maintenance when my share of the money is still in his account and he's been withdrawing it and eating it, and I've been paying rent during that time? So how can he say he does not have money when he's always driving a car? Car needs petrol, it needs oil, yeah, it needs service. How is he paying for all these things when he says he only has his income?
So in terms of the child maintenance issue, what you're basically saying is that you're still not happy, even though you have heard that from his income, he cannot physically afford the amount of money that you are hoping he is going to increase what he is currently paying. You're still not happy.
I want my money back. Let him give me my money that he owes me. Then I can say to the court, okay, because he's earning this much, you see, he can decrease it to that much. You understand? So let him give me my money back. Why is he holding it to himself?
No, lawyer, we have a lawyer share. Now, property in the number as a pattern rent against him, I just shelter one more property near. So, here, an aspect or an agit shelter cuckoo. I just as a pattern rent, then I pattern rent waiting. As a pattern next. Against him, Kuku Jarting 83. Kuku on a pattern of 500 rand. Ne, I did 500 rand 330. At the end of the day, I expect that or not happy. He moved to take a move. I'm away. Warner. None to get a chance. Yaga Peter Ilahoblo. What's a share how? You feel it where how in a shelter how? None Peter Umfilea, I think it's one of a
Mamwendi, as a financial expert and life coach, you've heard what both parties have had to say. What would be your last word to both of them with the solution?
So my last word to both parties would that it is obvious that the child, in spite of their financial obligation, still needs to be taken care of. Every child needs to be looked after by both parents. And I also want to encourage Eric Hore, he must have a relationship with his son. It's very important for the son to have a healthy relationship with his father, because that prince is a father tomorrow.
Yeah.
And he needs to know how to love his children. And I am prepared post this session to have a one-on-one Libona as a couple to see how we can go forward and assist them manage their finances so that in the final analysis, Prince is looked after.
Thank you, Mamwendi. Mzo, as an advocate with the legalities involved in this case, your last word to both of them.
Let me remind you, Eric Kukuti, as it stands, the court order is for 500 rands and not 300 rands. And as a personal commitment to both of them, I will assist with the child, because I heard with the child has got problems with drugs. At the courts, we have programs where we can take the children to, even without them being arrested. So if you know that your child has got a problem with drugs, at the courts we can send them for rehab at no cost at all to you. So I will assist them with that if they want us to take that forward.
Sure. Thank you very much. Well, there you have it, folks. When we open the lines of communication, we do discover that there is help at hand. This is Papgeld. See you next week.